style can be learned, or do you think it's innate?
I don't think that they've discovered a gene for style. I don't think it's on the DNA. I think it's totally learned, like most things are learned. Now, let's just say a lot of things are learned you learn it. You learn it by example. You see your eyes, you're a kid, you experience things, you begin to, put it together. I mean, me, personally, I had 3 young aunts that were, say, late teens, maybe 20. And my mom was working, had her business, and I was with my aunts and my grandmother a lot. And they were young women. And they would drag me wherever. Times Square in those days, you would, these theaters, first there was a live floor show and then the film. But I experienced all this. So it became, part of my mental file. One question that I was asked once, and I had to really think about it, but I remember, what was your first stylish outfit or something like that? It was a question like that. When I was probably about 6, I think, I had this cowgirl outfit. And I was in love with this cowgirl outfit. And I wouldn't take it off. And it was a vest and a little skirt with a fringe, and cowboy boots, a hat, a gun with a holster. And I was like, this is me. So that's my first memory of something that I wore myself that became very, personal to my experience. Well, I'm often asked, who is my style icon? And I always give the same answer, it's Cleopatra. And they go, really, why? Think about what women from 2,000 years ago have any image whatsoever. By the way, she was not Egyptian, she was Greek. She was the 13th dynasty of Ptolemy, who was Alexander the Great's general. And when he took over the Middle East, he put Ptolemy to rule over the Middle East. And Cleopatra was the 13th generation. They took her around. She was kind of trained for this job. I think it might have been her grandfather. She wasn't like a girly girl. She was out there, doing diplomacy with her grandfather. She's a style icon because we have a visual memory, also thanks to Elizabeth Taylor, but for anyone interested in, history, they know that about the real Cleopatra. And she was a powerful woman, and she did what she had to do, right, wrong, or indifferent. She was there for basically Egypt, which she ruled over. And she's my style icon.
Pat is here really because of Michele Saunders. And they've been friends for decades, right? And I want to ask you about your relationship. How did you meet? What is the connection between the two of you that has created this lasting friendship?
Michele and I met each other at the Paradise Garage on the dance floor, I believe. We were, regulars there. Those were the days when people danced and had fun. And the Paradise Garage would open up at what time, 4 in the morning when the bars closed?
Midnight, but then really it started happening around 3 or 4, and then it lasted until noon or 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, you walk out and the sun would be shining. And Michele was involved with different musical groups, photography, many creative things. And she used to also come to my shop quite a bit. And we developed a relationship, a friendship, a little working together on different things. And I like Michelle's energy very much, and she's very different. I mean, last night people were like, look at Michele, she's on the dance floor. Can you imagine, look how she can dance. Oh my God, nobody could dance like her. So, I respect Michele for her athletic prowess. She's a professional skier. Her son is like, can do anything on wheels. That's all because his mother gave him the athletic, whatever. It's a facet in you, which is totally positive, and I found that very attractive in Michele. Michele, you want to say something?
I walked into Pat's store after actually a Paradise Garage party. The people who worked at her beautiful store went partying to the garage, and in the morning I was fascinated by the way they were dressed. I was doing a lot of things myself, but somehow when I saw this group, I thought I just got to follow where they're going. So I followed them to 8th Street, to the store, and that was it. And then I lived in the store for years. I still do. This is the store. And I'm so glad I could bring the store, or this vibe here. I always felt happy in Pat's store. I always felt young, and if I have this energy, I think it has a lot to do with the way I felt in the store. Very inspiring. Age doesn't matter, looks do not really matter. It's how you feel and how you express yourself. And this is what I found in Pat's store. So I gave her energy, but she's giving me a lot of energy too and inspiration. Glad she came here today.
Yeah, it was like after the club, back to work. Don't go home. You're in your club where you're working. The store is open. Get to work.
So in a few minutes, we are going to go down to the gallery for the opening of the Centennial She exhibition. But I wanted to see if anyone here has any questions for Pat.
You've done so many things. I'm curious, and still to this day, how do you keep up your energy level?
Well, it's been years of practice. But to be perfectly honest with you, like the nightlife is greatly curtailed because, by 10, 11 o'clock, I'm like, okay, I've had it. I can't go in a noisy place with crowded people or whatever. I just need a little peace and quiet. But in general, to keep up your energy, I think it's very important to be involved and interested. Otherwise, you kind of start to decay. I think it's really important to, sometimes it might not be as comfortable as when you were young, but it's really important to push yourself and keep yourself active and stimulated, your brain, your body. Because people who retire early, they get old fast. So I think you stay young because you stay in the race. You gotta stay in that race. I think it's kind of a myth. When I'm 60, I'm 65 and I'm gonna retire and I'm gonna take it easy. And, after whatever, 6 months, a year, it's boring. It's not about making money or not making money. It's about being active, interacting with people, young people, old people, middle people, all kinds of people, and staying current. I'm aware of that. And when I sold my store, immediately, I don't know, because I'm aware of it, I guess, or it wasn't a plan. I was like, okay, I have a few artists in my shop. Kyle, Studlove and Kyle, Scooter LaForge, of course, Iris, Bonner, these people. So when I was selling my store, I was like, okay, what am I gonna do now? I thought, I had a website, and rather than close it down, this segment of painted clothing, it was a small segment in my store, but it was doing very, very well because people wanted one of a kind because, fashion had become so monotonous and same, and stylists would come in and clients saying, this is the only place I could come in here and find something that I haven't seen before. It gave me the idea to continue my website, but to convert it to an ArtFashion, online gallery, and that I would enjoy it, which is really important. Staying energized is enjoying what you're doing. You want to get up in the morning and want to go and get to work and do whatever you do, not drag. And ugh. I feel terrible for people like that because we only have one life, and we owe it to ourselves to make it a happy one.
As a
young child, I used to destroy my clothing and paint on it, and we all have a hip relative, and I had a hip relative who said, you have to go to the store on 8th Street. And I must have been maybe 8, and I had my first trip to Patricia Field's, and I have to say it was life-changing. So I came in, and my life was pretty much permanently changed. Suddenly I didn't feel alone. You know, there was no internet, there was, you know, I was just a person, feel like, am I the only person who sees things this way? And I realized no. And it was transformative, and I want to thank you for that. Today everybody says you must dress age appropriate.
Okay, so that what you said about coming into the store and feeling, oh, there are other people like me. I hear that all the time. It's really great to have been a part of inspiring people and giving them a positive experience about themselves. My store was like a clubhouse in a way. So we didn't serve cappuccino, but you know, it was very picturesque, and it was fun, and it was creative. The people who were creative really got into it. You were 8 years old. A lot of times I would experience little kids going with their mothers, Mommy, Mommy, I want to go down there, I want to go down there. And the mothers would pull their kids away, you know. And the kids always loved the store because it was, you know, it's colorful and there's characters. It was like a circus. And the kids responded to it all the time. They loved it. The second part of your question was, I forget. Oh, yeah, that's bullshit. If you feel what you wear, you can wear it. There's no such thing. The fashion victims are the ones who wear age appropriate because they have eaten the line of crap. You know, when you walked in the door, I saw your great necklace and your boots and your clothing. You know, you looked like you were enjoying yourself with your life. That's what's important. And I didn't go, oh, that woman shouldn't be wearing blah, blah, blah. You carry it. If you feel it, you carry it. Michelle's a perfect example of that. She definitely has her own style. Michele and I are contemporaries. I have my style, it's a different style. But we each carry our style because style is personal. I would never wear something that was dictated to me to wear. That was age appropriate. What the hell does that mean? I think people learn by example. I was never really one to march in a parade or women's rides or something like that. I think it takes individuals and it takes a village. And this experience here in Catskill really underscored that idea for me. It was such a communal effort on the part of the people here that supported this event and on the part of the people who came to this event. And the people were talking and socializing and happy, and it was a wonderful, positive experience, better than any of the of the events that we have done around, and we've gone around the world. Believe me, this is on the top. This is on the top of my hit list. I mean, the effort made by supporting local people, and then when the people came to the event, it was just wonderful. I'm so glad that I'm doing this. This is what you want to feel like. You want to feel happy. So I really thank you all for spending an hour with me, expound on my theories. Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.